Before we start the show, let's hear from one of our sponsors. Their support keeps this show free for you. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace and Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm Michelle and I'm here. And I am coming off a high from my 30-day challenge meeting today, which is a glimpse inside of the Connected Parent Mastermind. And so if you have not checked out our Connected Parent Mastermind, our group coaching program, where we have a little community of people, we meet 3 days a week. I do a meeting on Wednesdays. Coach Martha does a meeting on Tuesdays. Coach Taryn does a meeting on Thursdays. And we really dive into the ideas of connected parenting. Plus, you get access to all of our online materials, our podcasts that correlate with the online materials, my book, support materials, old events, my courses. You get everything. The school community, you get it all. So if you want to dive deeper, if you really want to know how to apply these things, this is the program for you. And it's a great program. So you can email me at michelle@peaceandparentingla.com. I'm happy to get on a call with you and chat about it. You can also click in the show notes and read a page all on the information on it. Okay. I want to talk about how play can be discipline. Play is used to teach. And that is what discipline is, to teach. So play is actually one of the best ways in which we can discipline children. Play is one of the best ways we can interact with children. So if discipline is to teach, then play is the best discipline, because play is one of the best ways to teach children. And here are the reason why. Because play is their language. They speak the language of play. And how do you want to learn something? Do you want to sit in a lecture hall and have someone lecture to you about the morality of, a sibling relationship? Do you want someone to sit you down and explain it to you or to correct you around it? Or would you rather have someone be silly and fun and connective and interactive in teaching you something? What's the best way you learn? Is it through having a worksheet or reading something in a book? Or would you actually benefit if someone played with you, if someone was fun with you? I taught Spanish way back when. I was a teacher for 14 years. I taught elementary school and I taught secondary. And I taught all of it in Spanish. So I taught, bilingual ed and I taught Spanish 1 and 2. And when I got to Spanish 1 and 2, so I started with bilingual ed in early elementary, kindergarten and second grade. And I used a lot of play in the classroom. Like we would do all kinds of games. We would, because if you think about a kindergarten classroom, we did a lot of singing. We did a lot of fun rhyming things. We played. And that's how I taught the kids. And they loved it because it was playful. And I didn't even know I was doing connective parenting. I was doing connective teaching, right? Because I was using play to get my point across. And I would always, be the bumbling idiot, like, oh, 1 + 1 is 6, right, guys? And they would all laugh and say, oh, Miss Kenny, you're so dumb. You don't know what it is. You know it's 2. and I would be silly and playful. And it really taught them things, right? And it was fun and it was interactive. And so then when I got to secondary school, I was like, how the heck am I going to teach Spanish 1 with play? And so I went to this conference and it was all about how to use games in your Spanish classrooms or in your language classrooms. And it was one of the best conferences I ever took. I took it every single year, and every single year I learned new games and I figured out how to be playful. And I taught kids in secondary school. I taught Spanish using games. We played Battleship, we did rhymes, we had songs, we played password. I mean, every day was a game. And it was so fun. And we learned really well. My kids did really well because play is such a magical way to learn something. And if discipline is to teach, and we're trying to teach our children things, then play is the natural progression for discipline. And it's why it's so much more effective than consequences and punishment.
We're going to take a break from our show to hear from our sponsors. Without their sponsorship, I wouldn't be able to bring you this incredible show free of charge. So I'll see you back in a few minutes. Are you sick of the sibling fighting? Are you tired of asking your child to do the same thing over and over and over again, only to end up using threats and bribes to try to get them to cooperate? Well, it doesn't have to be like that. You can learn the ideas of connection through our Connected Parent Mastermind group coaching program. We meet 3 days a week. Myself and my 2 coaches hold meetings. We also give you access to all of my online materials, meaning 10 modules of instruction, PDFs, podcasts, and my book. You get to join our school community and interact with coaches and myself and so many parents who are doing this work just alongside you. So if you're feeling stuck, or if you want to accelerate your connected parenting practice even further, join the Connected Parent Mastermind. Click the link in the show notes for more information. Hey there, Peace and Parenting family. If you love the podcast but wish to enjoy it without interruptions, your wish has come true. Introducing the ad-free version of the Peace and Parenting podcast, available exclusively on Apple Podcast. As a subscriber, you'll get all the heartfelt advice, parenting stories, and actionable tips you love without any ads. For less than the cost of a coffee each month, you will enjoy uninterrupted listening while also supporting our work to help you build stronger connections with your kids. Try it out for free. Simply find Peace and Parenting on Apple Podcasts, click Try Free, and you'll gain immediate access to our ad-free episodes. There's no commitment and you can cancel anytime. So if you're ready for a more peaceful, uninterrupted listening experience, subscribe now. Let's keep focusing on connection without the distractions. Okay, back to the episode.
Play also, in all of this play, it keeps us calm. It keeps us in a positive light. It keeps us connected, because instead of going to consequences and punishments and threats and bribes, we're going to play, which naturally in your body just feels better. Being playful feels better. We also exude a sort of connection with our child when we come with play, as opposed to coming with threats or bribes or consequences or yelling or lecturing or correcting, because that doesn't feel good in our body, and doesn't translate to connection to our child. And it actually puts us in a negative light. It makes us feel icky. It does me. It makes me tight and growly almost. Whereas play makes me feel light and energetic and loving and caring and charismatic. And it puts me in this place where I'm more receptive to connection with my child, especially when they're doing something naughty. And that, I think, is one of the best places we can use play, because there's already shame there. Our child already feels bad. They already know that they're not doing what they want to be doing. And when we can break it up and we can discipline using play, we teach way more than when we use consequences, punishments, bribes, threats, rewards. And when we can stay calm, because it really lends itself to keeping us calm, because it's not aggressive, because it's not punitive, because it's not unkind. It's calm and loving and playful. So it is problematic though. And here's why. Our bodies and brains don't see play as discipline. We don't see it as a pathway to helping children learn. We don't see it as productive. We often see it as a way that it is going to reinforce bad behavior. But that is just a fallacy. And all of those things that we believe around play have to change. That mindset has to change in order for us to embrace the idea of using play as discipline. And, really, people didn't play with us like that as kids. Nobody came to us in when we were having a hard time or doing the wrong thing. And we're like, oh, I guess you're going to get a hug now. No one would have done that. They would have said, go to your room. What are you doing? You need time out. They would have come down our throat. And so somewhere in the back of our mind, we're like, no, this isn't right. This is wrong because it's so counterintuitive. Additionally, we can't come up with fun games or find, a strategy that's playful because we have never learned any. So sometimes we have to teach ourselves. And I think that's what's so good about our Connected Parent Mastermind. We have a whole module on play. We talk about play all the time. We use it in almost every single meeting it comes up. And we really practice the principles of play. And we give you games and we give you suggestions and people come with questions and we tell them how to use play. And it becomes just part of our practice. And so play is a big, huge part of discipline. It is not just like a passing by moment, but it is a huge part of discipline in the connected parenting world. Now, it isn't a big part of discipline in the gentle parenting world, but it's one of our main staples in connected parenting. And I think it serves us very well if we use it. The problem is sometimes we can't use it. And I have so many people say to me, I can't play. I can't get there, Michelle. I can't get my mind to think that way. I can't change. And what I say to that is, yes, you can. You actually can. But you have to want to, and you have to be, determined to. You have to say, yes, I want to do this. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, I see the benefits in it. And I think part of it is that if you don't have the new mindset around it, right? If you don't have this new ideology that you actually believe that it works and that you believe that it's going to be a good way to discipline kids, and if you don't believe that, then of course you can't do it. But if you change your mindset and know it and believe in it, then it becomes much easier. And so you have to embrace this idea that A, you can do it, and B, that it works. And don't tell yourself you can't. I don't want to hear that, guys. I mean, you can. I was the most unplayful person when I first came to parenting. I was very stern. I don't know why, because I could play with my students, but I was very stern because I think I was so fearful that I wasn't doing it right. Or I was so fearful they weren't going to get all the things they needed. I wasn't going to teach all the lessons. And I didn't translate it to behavior, the play, I guess. I translated it to curriculum, but I could never translate it to behavior. And so I had a really tough time with play. I could not do it. It was so hard. And I told myself I couldn't do it. But when I finally embraced it and I told myself, yeah, Michelle, you can do it. This is so good. And I practiced it and it started to really work. I was off to the races with it. And now it is my go-to way in which I interact with my kids. And I just do it not as discipline. I'm just playful now all the time. I mean, especially with Pia, I get that kid laughing every morning, being the bumbling idiot. I mean, she thinks I'm ridiculous. I mean, I will be in the worst outfits ever and ask her if we can do a TikTok and can you record it? And can you give it to me? Because I want to, have it for either my Instagram or I want to have it for my own prowess. And she'll be like, Mom, you look ridiculous in those. I was like, I know. I thought I looked really good. I thought I was doing all the dance moves just right. And she's like, Mom, please don't. You look horrible. And she can't believe that I put some of the stuff out there that I do about myself, dancing. She's like, I can't believe you posted your dancing. It's so bad. What are you thinking? And I just I lean into it because it's so funny for her. And we bond so much about it that it becomes this bonding experience. So not only do I use it when someone's having an off-track behavior, but I just use it as part of our experience together. A light, loving, playful house is a fun house to be in. And that's what I want. Now, am I perfect? Do I always do it? No. Sometimes do I not want to do a TikTok when she asks me? Yes. Sometimes am I stern? And I don't want to be. But I make mistakes and I do the wrong thing. And I don't always, I don't always follow my own advice. I try, but it doesn't always come easily to me because I'm human. Again, but play can be discipline. Play can be also part of your ethos. Play can be everything, really. I mean, you have to do the other things too, but I love play so much. So really start thinking about how you can intervene with your children using play, as opposed to, like, you could just take threats and bribes and you could exchange them for play. You could take yelling and reprimands and correction and exchange it for play. Literally, you just find every moment where you want to do those things, you find something playful to do instead. And I bet it will change the entire ethos of your sweet little family. I promise you, if you do it diligently, it will. And if you're struggling, come find us. Email me. Let's get you in the program. Come to my Wednesday meeting at 4 p.m. It's lovely. We talk all about it. All right. Thanks for joining me on the Peace and Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here. And I'll see y'all next time.